AB9PF. Well, hello guys, and Chip, we got that smoke up this way too. It's if you go out early in the morning or late in the evening, you can actually smell it.
Raining off in the distance, you know, when you're out on a big river. This river I'm on here, it's miles long and 2 or 3 miles wide, you know. And it's like you're halfway out on the ocean. But anyway, I was looking across the river and I said, damn, I barely can see the other side. And must be pouring down over. I was thinking, man, I'm gonna have to drive right in the rain to get back. And I kept coming. It didn't change, you know. And got in and I got on Facebook and read a post there where our local weatherman said that the air quality is very, very bad. Said the smoke is just fogged in. Said there ain't enough. There's not no jet stream coming down this way to push it out. It's just meandering over top of us.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to take changing that jet stream and maybe a good storm to push all that smoke out of the way.
It kind of looks like you're driving around and following Cheech and Chong, don't it? Yeah. I don't understand how you hold together this far. It must be some hellacious fires going on up there in the northwest, you know, to make it all the way down here like that. KB4CMQ. Hey, Dan. Hey. Oh, Robot Dan. Howdy, Dan. Howdy. How's everybody doing? I can't speak to everybody, but I'm doing okay. Yeah, me too. I got out of hospital Friday. Uh-oh, what happened? I thought I was having a heart attack. Man, was you hanging out with Lloyd or something? No, I haven't seen him. That's what's kind of puzzled me. I'll be done. I ain't heard from him lately. He normally, you know, he sends me a text every week, you know, one or two, but I ain't heard anything out of him in 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, Roger. Yeah, I was sitting here Tuesday morning and was at the computer and got up to make Dad his breakfast. And while I was doing that, this pain come right up my throat. It got underneath my jaw and then it radiated down into both arms. I said, this ain't good. Head out then, wasn't it? I do what? It was time to head out and get to the hospital when that happened, wasn't it? Yeah, well, I got up to the hospital and I told them what I was feeling, and they threw an EKG on me and said, well, that's inconclusive. And then they said, well, Mr. Eller, we're going to have to schedule you for a heart cath. We're pretty sure you got some major blockages going on. So they did that on Wednesday, and then when I woke up in the recovery, the doctor looked at me and said, Mr. Eller, you're an anomaly. I said, what's that mean? He said, well, first off, you're not having a heart attack. You never did have one. Secondly, you don't have any blockages. We couldn't find nothing nowhere. And thirdly, you got the veins of a teenager. I said, imagine that. I smoked for 50 years. Oh, that's good to hear, though, isn't it? Oh, it was wonderful to hear. But the next thing he said was not so wonderful. He says, but you did have something going on because that one enzyme that a heart attack drives up was up elevated. It was off the scale. And he said, are you undergoing any kind of stress? And I said, no more than usual. And, he said, well, we're going to do an echocardiogram. You had one in March. We'll be able to compare them and see what's going on. Well, he did that. 0. It was no different from the one I had in March. But now they're really confused. And they said, go home, lose weight. That's what I did. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, well, good for you, Dan. That's, I think I heard, I didn't know about this, but I think I heard Dean talking about you being in the hospital. Something about you forgot your charger for your cell phone. Was he talking about you? Yeah, that was me he was talking about. See, I never caught the name, but I'm glad that's working out, or that worked out for you. Yeah, just lose weight.
I'm trying to. I was 240 about 4 years ago. I'm down to 220 now, but I'd love to get down to 190, but these last 30 pounds are hard.
Well, my goal is to lose 160 in a year.
Ooh, you got a lot to do.
I've already lost 13 pounds since last Monday.
Yeah, I used to walk every day, and I quit. I got to get back to it. I walk up and down our stairs in the house every day, but I got to get back out there.
Well, there are two things I'm doing. I'm cutting my diet back to what I used to do, and I'm going to put myself in ketosis and let that do its thing while I'm getting exercise.
You know, I heard Dean is having gastric bypass. I didn't even know he was that big.
He's a big boy.
Well, I saw pictures of him, and he didn't look fat to me, but when he told me he was getting that bypass surgery, I was like, dang. But anyway, when is he getting that though?
Sometime September or October, November. Yeah, sometime in October or November.
Oh yeah, I heard you. Sorry, I was just thinking. That surgery scares me. It's so invasive. It's I mean, they're taking part of your stomach out.
Yeah, I told Dane to give that a second thought because there ain't no way to turn back once you have it done. And I've had friends that had that done, and they're no longer with us.
I've had friends that have had it done, and they just save their food up, and they eat all the time. They don't eat a lot, but they eat all the time, and they're still big.
Yeah. It's really not an answer. If the problem is you eat too much, that's the problem. Whether you got a stomach that's 30 meters across or 3 feet across, it's still the fact that you're not going to change your eating habits, and that's what needs to change.
Chip, you're skinny as a rail, aren't you?
Well, I'm 6'4" and 197, so I wouldn't say skinny as a rail, but I'm not fat by no means.
Man, 194. I remember weighing 194. It was a long time ago.
But not very long, because then I went to 195. Actually, I said 197. I'm 6'4". Well, I was 336 last Monday, and now I'm down to 323.
Yeah, you got to get rid of some of that for sure.
Oh, I'm getting rid of all of it.
Good luck on that. It's I love food so much, and God blessed me with a wonderful cook. My wife, she is just the best cook, and she cooks every night something delicious. And I just have to limit myself to one plate. I want to go back. Well, I still sometimes go back for half a plate because she's just such a good cook.
Yeah, that's my problem. So am I.
But man, my garden did so good. Tonight we had pork. We call it boiled dinner. I don't know what people in the South call it, but you just take a piece of meat in a pot with a bunch of vegetables and basically steam it. So we had a pork roast done that way, and the potatoes were from the garden, the cabbage was from the garden, the carrots were from the garden. Everything was from the garden except for the pork. And my garden did really good this year. So we were eating, if I just could grow a pig, it would all been from the garden.
Well, the hamburger I got in my freezer used to be on the hoof about behind my house.
We buy a half of a half about once a year from a neighbor who raises Herefords, and they're not the greatest steaks, but the hamburger is so tasty. Oh man, it's just the best hamburger I've ever had.
If you ever get the chance, eat a Charlet steak. You'll just love it.
How does that spell?
I'm not real sure. You'll have to check. Charlet, I imagine it's C-H-A-R-L-E. But I could be wrong. I don't know. But that's called Charolais. It's a kind of cow or beef, but they're really good. And excuse me, they're either solid. I think they're solid white.
Well, it's spelled just like Charlotte, North Carolina, I think.
But they're very tasty. When I was a kid, I worked on a farm, big horse farm, and they raised everything. They raised their own beef, they had their own poultry, they had their own pork, and of course they had huge gardens on the farm, but the farm itself was like, I want to say 3,400 acres. And what they raised mainly were standard bred yearlings. Race horses. That farm had 44 miles of paved road on the farm.
Wow.
44 miles? Yeah. Big farm, wasn't it? It was a huge farm.
I did a recording session for a guy one day, and while one of the guitar players was doing his parts, I said, what do you do for a living? Because he wasn't a professional musician. He liked to write songs and whatever. So he said, I've got a goldfish farm. And I was like, really? Goldfish? And he said, yeah, I've got 40 acres of pond. He said, I'm the largest goldfish, I don't know, farm, I guess he called it, in the United States. He said, I'm FedEx's biggest customer. He said, FedEx drives semis into my farm every day. And he said, if you buy a goldfish at Walmart, it came from my farm.
Oh, that's amazing. He's doing big, ain't he?
He's in Arkansas. He said the weather in Arkansas is perfect for raising goldfish because it doesn't get too hot in the summer and it doesn't get too cold in the winter.
You know, when I was a kid, the people across the street from me had a little thing built into their yard. It was only like 4 foot in diameter and about 2 foot deep, but it was just a little tiny little pond in their yard. And it was stocked with goldfish. And of course, come winter, the damn thing was pretty solid. And don't you know, when spring came, the fish were still there. It's amazing how they live like that. AB9NA.
W9BOQ.
AB9PF.
KW4BL. KW4Z.
Still live streaming over tonight, Ricky?
I am.
I've got a unit to put in an attic in the morning, so I can't stay up too late tonight. I got to get up early and get over and get that unit in the attic before it gets too hot. Hey, Chip.
Yes, sir.
How much more efficient is a mini split over just a standard furnace? A lot. I mean, the furnace is either exposed to hot, heat up in the attic, or it could be cold in the crawl space if you got it out there, but it's in the closet. It's still more efficient most of the time because most of your mini splits start out at 17 sears, the lowest rating on them, and a regular unit is 14 sears, so it's three sear or more efficient right off the bat, and they're actually more efficient because they have no temperature loss in the ductwork, because the mini split ain't got no ductwork. It just blows the air right out in the room, so they're just super duper efficient. Well, I hear they don't use heat strips. How do they develop heat? Well, the heat pump does the heating, and it's so efficient the way they do it that it can still heat down into the teens where a regular heat pump can't do it. Right, that's what I was wondering, because occasionally around here it'll get down below zero and stay that way for a couple weeks at a time, and I'm just wondering, will a mini split handle that? it gets below zero, it won't handle it, you know. So you have to plan. If you got a mini split, that's all you got. So to heat and cool your house, you need to plan on having a backup. Now, it don't matter if it gets 120 outside, it'll cool your house, but when it gets below zero, the efficiency of it drops way off. Okay, well now I'll consider that when I've ordered my building. I'm gonna turn into a house, and I'll probably put a little small wood burning stove in there. Yeah, as long as you got a backup for those coldest days, you know, it'll keep it warm, you know, in the teens on up, you know, for the rest of the year. Here, Roger.
Hey, what's going over in Florence, Alabama tonight? Well, not much. I just got the radios hooked back up. Did I take care of that fan problem?
Did you have a fan noise going on?
Yeah, I did before. I don't know if I do now.
I don't hear.
You're not hearing it, are you? Well, I forgot. Chip stepped out. Miss Tammy came in the room. Jim, are you hearing any fan noise or anything on his signal?
No, I'm not. Sounds good. I don't hear anything but him. I the stove away, Vern. I said I didn't hear anything.
Okay, well, I got things hooked back up, and then we'll move things around, so I was just trying to see if I cured that problem or not.
I believe you did.
Yeah, in fact, your microphone sounds really good. Well, that's the way I like hearing rather than hearing the opposite thing the last time I was on, which wasn't too good.
I'll run down the hall. I'll be right back. Don't y'all run away. WW4CB.
Head back. We missed you already.
I'll tell you what, I'm thinking about getting one of those mini splits. We don't have central air here, so we use window units, and right now our electric company is actually giving us money back if we have one installed.
Yeah, well, this little building that I've ordered is only going to be 16 by 32 foot in size. I figure a mini split would be perfect to heat in.
Yeah, they, from what I've read on them, they're pretty good. My father-in-law just put one in a cabin, and it has no central air, and the only source of heat he has in there is a wood stove. So he don't spend all his time down at that cabin, and so he put a mini split in just to keep the pipes from freezing in the wintertime.
You're right.
Splits, I don't know what to call it, both heat and air, or do they make mini splits that are just air without being a heat pump?
That I don't know. Chip would know.
Because I don't know what part of the country you live in, but my wife has an art studio that is 10 by 24. And she just cools it with a window unit and uses a little space heater in the winter, and that just the cheapest $10 space heater. It keeps it nice and warm in there.
Oh, I could probably heat that with a space heater, but the electric bill would kill me. But here in Kentucky, it gets as cold as it does in Michigan.
Yeah, that's true.
And we get as much snow, too.
And you can keep all that snow up your way.
Yeah, I don't want it either. We moved from Michigan to get away from that nonsense, and it just seems like it's followed us.
That's something we don't get very much of down here, but when we get one, a lot of times, you know, if it's a good one, it came out of the southwest, up out of the Gulf, and the moisture and then the cold front met together over the top of us. The last major storm we had here was back in '93, and we had 2 feet of snowfall down here.
Here, Roger. I'm back. I knew that was you before you even spoke. I just bumped the mic. Did you hear it? Yes, I did. Got some good ears.
Hey, Chip, are all split units heat pumps, or can you buy them just as air conditioners, and is it a lot cheaper if you just get the air conditioner?
Talking about those mini splits?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do make just air conditioners or heat pumps, either way you want them, but most places just stock the heat pumps around here. Very seldom you even do that to special order the straight air conditioners, but way up north, I'm sure the straight air conditioners are pretty popular because probably don't many folks want heat anyway.
Yeah, are they a lot cheaper, do you know?
Oh yeah. Straight air conditioner mini split is considerably cheaper than a heat pump.
Yeah, my wife has a window unit in her art studio, and it cools it off, but in the afternoon it just doesn't quite keep up. So she's thinking about selling that window unit and buying a split unit that just does air, because I was telling these guys when you were gone that she could heat that with just a little space heater. A $10 space heater keeps it toasty warm in there, even on the coldest days.
Yeah, that mini split air conditioner would be awesome. I mean, those things are just amazing. I think I heard Ricky talking about when as I walked off, he could get one, or they would put one in, or give him money back for putting one in. What was the deal with that, Ricky? I didn't catch it all. I was walking away.
Our electric company here, local electric company here in the county, if you get one and have it installed or install it yourself, they give you up to $1,500 back for doing that. So basically, as long as it's not too big, you get one for free.
Yeah, man, that's a deal and a half. I'll tell you what, those little units are just fantastic. That's Charlie Mack or old Dale that gets in here with us. He's got a couple of them, and anybody that's got them just loves them. They're deadly quiet. You can't even hear them run, and they really put out the heat and cool.
Now, the ones that have like dual zone or multiple zones to them, are they just as efficient?
Oh yeah, they are. The only problem with those is, they got extra boards in the outdoor unit, and extra valves and extra stuff. In other words, it's a lot for that compressor to pump, and if the compressor goes out, it don't matter how many spaces you're cooling with it, you're gonna lose them all. But if you had, just say for instance, you had 3 rooms you wanted to, a head in. If you did 3 individual units, if the compressor went out on one of them, you still have two rooms to stay in. But you do a 3-head, with one outdoor unit, and that something happens to that outdoor unit, the board goes out, or compressor goes out, or something, the condenser motor goes out, then your whole house is down. So that's the reason I try to tell people that want one of those triple head kind or whatever, they're just as expensive as buying three singles. So, in my opinion, the 3 singles would be better.
Yeah, probably so. The only reason why I was looking at them, I've been looking at them for a while, and I just found that out about the electric company a couple weeks ago. But here in the shack, I didn't run any heating or any ductwork in here, so it gets warm in the summertime with this amp running, and then in the wintertime it's been space heaters, and I was looking to get away from that, and I want something quiet, and the window unit just too noisy for me.
Yeah, that's another thing about the mini split is they're perfect for a radio shack because they don't put off a bunch of racket to get in your microphone.
Get the inverter type.
Yeah, the inverters are great. They very efficient, but there's a drawback with them sometimes too. Sometimes the inverters will put noise into your radio. people don't ever have a problem, and other folks have had 10 to 15, 20 over noise level off those inverters.
Don't want that.
Absolutely not.
N9JOL.
Hey there, I believe that was Mississippi Jim, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Mississippi Jim with his amp set in standby. Should be a little better now.
Now I could tell it's you. I couldn't. It was a week before. I couldn't tell if it was you or not.
Yeah, I decided not to push my amp so hard, so I dropped my drive back to about 50%, and without the amp on, that makes me pretty weak.
Yep, I agree. It does, but with it on, you're loud and proud on me. I don't know who all else is hearing you, but you're sounding good on me there, Jim. Good to hear you.
Well, I was just flipping through frequencies and heard you and thought I'd stop for a minute to say hello. I was fixing to go in there and watch some TV with the XYL. But like I said, I wanted to say howdy for a while.
Well, we're glad you did, and hope you got a break from that heat today like we did.
Yes, sir, and I sure did enjoy it. It rained on us, but at least it wasn't 95 degrees raining on us.
I agree with you, man. I tell you what, I'll take a little bit of rain over a 95 to 100 degree day, and heat index, way up above that. That heat was about to beat me down there for several days.
Yeah, it got pretty rough here too.
Well, especially if you got to work in it.
So I just wanted to say hello to you and see how you're doing. So I'm fixing to get on off here and go sit and spend some time with my redhead. So y'all have a good evening, and I'll holler at you some other day. N9JOL.
Have a great evening there, Jim. We'll catch you later, bud. Yeah, working out in it makes it twice as bad there, Dennis.
Oh yeah, I got a weed whack tomorrow, and I got 4 acres of fence, and but it'll probably be okay tomorrow because it's supposed to be in the low 80s.
You need a goat.
I need to spray Roundup along the base of the fence. I should do that.
Yeah, them goats, that's the first thing they go for is right around the fence line. I got one, and he eats everything around the fence line always. Then they move in after that's cleared.
Hey, Chip. Yes, sir. What are y'all going to do when you get Oklahoma and Texas in the SEC? My goodness gracious. That'd be a super conference, won't it? I'm telling you. And I even heard that Clemson and Florida State's talking to the SEC wanting in now, too. Well, I didn't hear that, but I did hear about Texas and Oklahoma.
Oh, where did you hear that now, Chip?
I just read it on Facebook, and it could be just somebody hyping it up, but I read it more than two or three places. Actually, what I heard was I was listening to a talk show out of Louisville today, and they were talking about the ACC going to try to pick up some of the other teams in the Big 12 maybe and add to the ACC, so it's just hard telling. There'll be all kind of lawsuits and everything else for us over.
Well, what you had heard, Chip, I believe comes from old David Pollock. That was something that he had said and made the recommendation that said Clemson ought to make it move, and somebody else mentioned Florida State, but nothing did I hear of any moves, nothing being made like that, because supposedly the ACC has such a good, media deal, unlike the Big 12. It would cost just prohibitive amount to get out.
Well, I didn't say that it said that they were coming to the SEC. It just said that they had contacted the SEC to want to talk to them about it.
Oh, okay. I don't think that's what you heard off of David Pollock saying that, but yeah, it's a done deal with Oklahoma and Texas. I mean, the invitations have done been sent and accepted, so that's definitely a done deal.
Yeah, well, I think Oklahoma and Texas both are going to find out that it ain't going to be such smooth sledding when you have to play SEC teams day, week in, week out.
That's the fact about just everybody you name. I don't care, just go down the list. Everybody's a rival to Texas. Don't seem like anybody likes them.
Yeah, we'll see how Steve Sarkisian does. You know, I know he's a good coordinator. We'll see how he does as a coach.
Who's going to be the first one to take Saban down? Not take him down, but who's going to be the first one to win a game against him? Which one of his former assistants is going to actually be the first to win a game against him, do you think?
I don't know, man. I tell you, it's we're so good now. It's hard to say, but if I had to pick one, you know, just out of the blue, and say one that I thought had the best shot at it, I'd say Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M.
Well, I certainly couldn't argue the point. I think you got a good suggestion there because he's got a strong team. Kirby hadn't been able to do it. He's had several shots at it, and it's almost come to the point. If he doesn't do it this year, he's gonna find his feet a little hot. But the one I kind of thought might get Saban, so Kiffin. I thought Kiffin might sneak up and get him.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, Saban, he just, I don't think he really likes Kiffin all that much, and I think that he'll work real hard to make sure that don't happen.
Yeah, well, I think you're right there, but Kiffin, out of all of them, I thought stood the best chance of being able to maneuver a game in his favor. That's the only reason I said that. But you are correct. I do not think there's any lost love between the two.
No, I don't either, and I believe he'll do everything in his power to come up with a good game plan, but, you know, they're pretty explosive, and that's one thing about it. Kiffin ain't scared to go against the grain and do crazy stuff to win, so, you know, it could happen one day.
I'm actually pretty happy here with the way I've got my desk laid out now. I totally took it down from last time when I had that problem. Completely disassembled everything and reassembled everything, and I'm finally happy with it. I've got a new set of monitors up here, got a computer that I hooked up down here, and everything at least so far seems to be going okay. I've not had any negative comments, so that part I like. But now the radio I'm on right now is the Kenwood 890, but the other two I haven't gone on and tried yet. I assume they're going to sound equally as well.
He's running your kind of radio, ain't he, Jim? Ain't that Kenwood? Yeah, yes, sir. At least there's another one on here. I thought I was the only one since Charlie Mack ain't in here no more.
Yeah, I heard you were getting married.
Yeah, I think he's retired from ham radio.
Whoa, man. Maybe he wanted a K4 and he didn't come yet. He's going to retire.
Hell, I don't know. I'm just putting two and two together over here. Must be a heck of a woman. I'm telling you.
Well, now, you know how women are. I mean, you know, just like everything else in life, you know, you get a new toy, you play with it a while. I don't mean to insinuate that a woman's a new toy or anything like that, but I'm just saying it's just kind of a natural human instinct that, you know, your attention stays someplace for so long and then it just kind of goes seeking, you know, another path. That radio may look good
we'll see how it all comes out. Maybe it'll all work out good eventually. But anyway, I miss him being on here. Yeah, I do too. It looks like it's going to be the SEC in football and probably the ACC in basketball. They're speculating, at least up there on the local UVL call-in shows, that the ACC might be. Evidently, the Big 12 is going to break up, but they're speculating about maybe adding Kansas to the ACC, which that wouldn't be anything in football, but it would be a big deal in basketball, and the ACC is a real good power basketball conference. Already got North Carolina, Duke, and amongst the others, and Kansas would fit in good for basketball, but they sure ain't no good at football.
Well, last I heard, ACC was looking to add Notre Dame, and I don't know what they said about West Virginia. They turned down West Virginia last time West Virginia wanted to be included, but I had heard that West Virginia was making motions that they'd like to come to the ACC also. And like I say, the talk is that Notre Dame, the ACC is like to add Notre Dame.
Well, ACC plays in the Notre Dame's already in it for a few games. Notre Dame said no, they wasn't going to do it. So, but they would like to make Notre Dame a permanent ACC school, but Notre Dame wants to remain independent. Notre Dame plays so many games in the ACC each year, so that way they can be in the ACC full-time in basketball. Kind of a messed up deal. So they said the ACC may tell Notre Dame, well, you're either going to go in all the way or you can just go your own way. And then if that happens, they said they might be looking at West Virginia and maybe Kansas. And that would make their basketball really good.
Well, what I'd like to know is why is our country paying to send some jackleg over there to the Olympics that's going to turn her back on the flag if she happens to medal? I'd say send her home is what I say.
I agree 100%. That's about insane, ain't it?
I know they don't have any crowds there because of that COVID, but the way I feel about it is if she turned her back on flag, it's time for everybody to just stand up and boo her.
Yeah, they need to find a way to blackball her somehow. Just leave her over there. That'd be a good thing.
Yeah, she's already not bragging, but she's already throwing out how she represents the oppressed. But just how many oppressed people are here? I mean, she must be awful oppressed to go over there representing the country, getting free. I'm sure that she's not paying for any motels or transportation or anything, so I'm sure she's a highly oppressed individual.
Yeah, she's really oppressed over there in the Olympics. Well, I just hope she don't win. I hope she comes in last. What is she in track?
No, she's, now I might have this wrong, but I don't keep up with those events, but I believe I heard them say she's in the hammer toss. Is there a hammer toss?
Yeah, they got something like that. Yeah, track and field, that's track and field, I think. Yeah, I think she did that when she qualified for the Olympics. I think she's the one that turned it around backwards and, I don't know, put a jacket over her head and stuff. She done did that over here. I guess she's going to do it over here, too. I just hope she don't win nothing.
Amen on that.
AB9NA, we're a little bit late the last time, a little bit early this time. WW4CB.
AB9PF.
KW4BL.
sounded like David.
I'd like to try to go. This is Dennis. Yeah, I switched over my 991. Does it sound okay? I was having reception problems with it. It was weird. Does it sound okay?
Sound like Dennis.
Okay. It was cutting in and out. I think it's my antenna switch. I'm going to give it a good clean in here.
Could stand to turn the mic gain back considerably, though. It's really overpowering. I agree with Chip. It sounds a little hot.
Yeah, I'll work on that. I just haven't used this microphone or this radio in forever. It doesn't look like it's hot, but I'll check that out. Thanks.
Looks can be deceiving from what we hear on this end, but anyway, check her out there. Well, is that you I heard, David?
Yeah, out in the old mobile, if you can hear my old weak mobile.
Yeah, I got the ears smashed up hard against the speaker and got the volume cut wide open and the preamps all on. I got you, man.
Hey, how you been? I ain't talked to you in a while.
I've been doing good, just working and fishing and camping, a little bit of everything, and we camped out Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and a little bit of Sunday, and so we've been camping for several days, and kind of come back and got back to work again today, so we got a hard week of work ahead.
Yeah, we tried to work today, but doggone, man, we had the big old thunderstorms come through several times during the day today, run everybody to the house, but old Leroy was there talking to himself this morning, trying to run that bus off a little bit below 7218, and we got there and talked with him a little bit, so he let somebody talk with. Asked him if he had heard you, but he said he couldn't hear you much with all that noise.
Yeah, I talked to him. I put my big tar heel on my truck. I got my 100A HP put on my truck here now, and it's doing real good. So he's hearing me pretty good now, and he told me that you'd been in there earlier this morning.
Yeah, what'd you find out about that controller issue?
It was, you was right. It was that plug right there at the antenna. I wiggled that thing a few times, and it went back to working.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. Well, we ain't gonna hold it up there too much. We just left up here in Baton Rouge, heading back toward the house, and got a few groceries we got to get there and get put up, and just kind of monitoring, and everybody sounds pretty good in there tonight in the old mobile. I just wanted to say hello. This is KJ5MD.
All right, David, we mobile them safely down through Baton Rouge there and get on home, and maybe we'll catch you in the morning time. I don't know. I'm going to be short timer here. I ain't going to be here much longer because I got to get up early and go put a unit in a attic. You know how that goes. But anyway, be careful, bud. Catch you later. WW4CB. David, I just wanted to tell you, this is Jim in Indiana. You're peaking about 15 over 9 up here in Indiana. Sounding good in the mobile.
Yeah, I don't want you about 15 over down here in the mobile. I tell you, I don't know. I think the meter on this thing must be a little stingy because I get almost the same signal on everybody in the mobile as I do at the house.
Chip, I switched radios. This is the Icom 7300. Does this sound okay?
It sounds a whole bunch better, a lot smoother. I agree.
That's not good.
It does. I'm telling you, that radio sounds a lot better.
Uh-oh. I'm going to have to adjust something. Have to see what's going on with the Kenwood. It should be better than that. I'm not saying it should be better than the 7300, which go by price it should be, but at least it should, it should sound close.
There's a different tone on it, shit. The Kenwood didn't sound bad. It just, you had your modulation all cranked up. It sounded, or you might have had the processor on or something. I don't know. Something wasn't right. It was just, the audio was just way too hot.
Let me go back and fool with it here in a minute. I'm going to switch one more radio over to Yazoo and tell me how it sounds, and then I'll go back to Kenwood.
He playing radio switcheroo around there, ain't he? I think so. I'd just like to have him to do that. Me and you always hear about the same thing.
Okay, I'm back on the Yazoo now. It does not have a processor on. How does this one sound?
Sounds good. I like it.
Okay, let me turn this one off, go back to Kenwood and get that audio straightened out.
Yeah, I still give the 7300 the nod on being the best sound, but just barely over the Yazoo.
Yazoo's just a little bit bassier, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
He's over there playing musical radios.
That Kenwood, it sounded like he was yelling in the mic. Was that when we said it was too hot? Yeah. Yeah, it was real hot. I could hear his slobber gurgling in his mouth.
But now I'm on Kenwood.
Back on Kenwood now.
Yeah, I'm back on Kenwood.
What'd you do? Cut the mic gain back?
Way back.
That sounds good now, boy. I think I just got the 7300 beat.
Yeah, I could. Now the processor is also. I think the processor is also. Let's look there and make sure. But yeah, it's the audio is way back on this one.
I think it sounds real good. I think it might be the best of the three now.
Well, you know, like I say, it's supposed to, but you know, sometimes you get them. This thing's just like I say, you gotta work with it sometimes.
Yeah, you got it now. Sounding great.
I'll lock it down.
Yeah, send him some super glue there, Jim, so he can glue all the knobs down where he don't turn nothing. Boy, I know this old little bitty Kenwood I got here, I ain't changed the audio. Other than one day I did, just playing around with it and messed it up and went right back to where y'all told me to have it there a long time ago. Just no sense messing with it. It's about as good as it can get. Same way. I've had mine set the same way for 3 years now. I ain't touched it. I mean, if it sounds good, why mess with it? You couldn't go nowhere but downhill. That's right. Yeah, no boy used to get on there with us. He's Silent Key now. I know none of you guys probably remember him. Boy, David, Vern might remember David Russell Miller. You remember David Miller or Vern?
I think so. That name sounds really familiar.
Yep. If you ever talk to him, you'd remember him there. But he had about 3 or 4 radios, and he had dementia. We didn't know it, but you know, for a long time we didn't know he had it. But anyway, he died about a year or 2 ago. But anyway, he was every single night. He would get in there and change his audio settings and change the mics, and he would just continuously piddling with that stuff. And we'd get him all set up and sounding like $1,000,000 one night. And the very next night he come back in there, and I mean, sound like crap, boy. I mean, it was terrible. I mean, awful. So he got one radio so messed up he couldn't even get it back anywhere in the ballpark. So old Hal went over there and told and helped David get his radio set back up and get his audio back right. It sounded like $1,000,000, and he got on there and he was telling somebody, you know, about how Hal had come and helped him change it and get it right. And old Jeff Harper, AC4C, coming there, and he said, hey, David said, man, you sound like crap. You need to turn this to the right and turn that to the left. Oh, Hal keyed up. He said, I'll whip your ass, boy. It sounds like Al. That was funny.
I remember him. He was on here when I first got on here.
That might have been a triple.
I was just saying, I remember David Russell Miller. He was on here when I first got on here.
I'll be darned. Yeah, you caught him in the end, I guess, or kind of, sort of. Yep, I think he could still carry on the conversation at that point, but it went downhill from there pretty quick. But anyway, I've had a rough day at work, and then I went out and I fished 3 or 4 hours, and I've eaten me a big old supper, and the combination of all the stuff I've done and all the food I've eaten, and sitting here horizontal for so long, my eyes are getting heavy, so I need to go to bed. I need to get up about 5:30 in the morning anyway, and get on the road and get this attic job done. So, and the bad thing is Wednesday I got another one to do. So I'm making a lot of money on them, but man, rough on the old body. Y'all take care. Have a great evening. Enjoyed it. 7-3 and all that mushy stuff. WW4CB.
Chip, hold the door open. I'm going to follow you out, and we'll catch everybody tomorrow evening. KW4BL.
I'm going to. Yeah, everybody have a good one. It's been a lot of fun. Nice to hear everybody. AB9NA.
I'm going to follow you guys out the door. Enjoyed it, and look forward to doing it again. 73 AB9PF.
Well, I guess I'll do the same. KW4Z. I ain't going nowhere. W9BOQ. KJ5MD. I'll be home in about 5 minutes out the door.